This is the Carbon Monoxide News Weekly Recap, April 7th through 12th, 2020. I'm Bob Dwyer with the Carbon Monoxide Safety Association. You can see news stories posted daily at www.cosafety.blogspot.com. Well, the coronavirus, COVID-19, has been dominating the news services. It's demonstrated it has the strength to adjust our behaviors, willingly or unwillingly. Well, here we primarily discuss carbon monoxide poisoning prevention strategies. We do post incidences where carbon monoxide has impacted the lives of people. We also discussed fire safety practices, and we promote building and mechanical science education. With that in mind, we'd like to mention a few educational online opportunities for some specific technicians before we get started on these news summaries. Some events may have a date and time, but will also be archived with a noted host for each event. But let's take a look at this one. Tomorrow, Blower Door Basics webinar. Join Paul of the Energy Conservatory. It's a 1-hour webinar on blower door testing. Now, I tell you, it's been a long time since I've done blower door tests, but I've done hundreds of them. And it's one of the most eye-opening events, practices that I've ever completed. And I always look forward to doing it because there were surprises in every building. If you're a building scientist, if you're a builder, if you're an HVAC mechanic, this will help you understand building pressures. This will certainly test for building pressures. So I highly recommend you take a look at this tomorrow, Tuesday, April 14th, Blower Door Basics webinar by the Energy Conservatory. For those of you needing your EPA certification, the ESCO Institute has their exam. The 608 exam is online. It's a proctored exam, so you can take that securely. The ESCO group has put together over 100 webinars now from their authors and from the instructors that have provided education for you instructors all around the world and North America on heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration. So let's take a look at the escogroup.org site and let's start tapping into those educational resources. But again, for those of you needing your 608 exam, you can take that from your home on your computer in a proctored exam. So let's visit the escogroup.org. And then you take some time away from the ESCO group webinars. You can always tap into the cosafety.blogspot.com and research some of the archives. One of the things I've noticed is this is a very popular date, September 6, 2012. And again, we talk about carbon monoxide not having a season. So you might find that one interesting. One of the things that I suggest people do on their archives, at our archives, is to look at your birthday and see what took place on your birthday or around your birthday. Carbon monoxide events, maybe somebody came up with a good idea to prevent poisoning. So again, checking out the archives can be educational. Educational and a warning. This first news clipping from this last week, again, working in confined space. These guys were working inside a manhole under the ground. Any confined space can reduce oxygen and cause some problems. If you're working with any kind of power tools, particularly those that are combustion power tools, we have to be careful. Well, from the Nelson Daily, we understand a plastic cutting board left on an electric stove, fires, kitchen fires, one of the number one causes of residential fires in the world is a cooking fire. And keep in mind, something smoldering can cause some carbon monoxide. And again, flu-like symptoms often misdiagnosed. Carbon monoxide poisoning from even electrical fires. From the landonline.com, kitchen appliance started a fatal fire. We just talked about it. Another article previously, this kitchen appliance malfunction. And Howard Vern Easton, 64, died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Let's be careful. And after some tragedies, the Anchorage Daily News, the fire departments are pleading. I encourage Alaskans to take the news of these deaths as a call to action. I implore you to walk through your homes with your family members to ensure everyone understands fire hazards and how they can be mitigated. Take the time to test your smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, and fire extinguishers. All homes should have these items. Have a plan of what to do in case of a fire, and practice a fire drill with your family so everyone understands what to do and where to meet in case of an emergency. PampinaValleyOnline.com last week said as we approach the Good Friday long weekend, a local emergency official suggests this might be a good time to check the batteries in the smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors in our homes. The fire chief suggests putting spare time to good use. We should all listen to that. And out of the Wicked Local in Easton, the Easton Fire Department reminds residents of spring cleaning and fire safety tips. You know, the fire departments, these are emergency responders. Their jobs are tougher now during the coronavirus outbreak. They've always been tough, and let's listen to them. Out of ABC News 4, alarms keep death away. You know, the message is out there. Are we listening? These residents did. Home destroyed. One firefighter was injured in Dorchester County, but 2 residents were in the home at the time, but they were able to evacuate safely thanks to smoke alarms. From the Lewiston Morning Tribune, again, the emphasis. Fire causes smoke damage. No working smoke detectors were detectors. Let's get these detectors. Let's get a low-level carbon monoxide detector and get an even earlier warning. The Spokane Valley Fire Department, they think carbon monoxide alarms are a good investment, so we should be a good role model. We need to know the difference between the sounds of the alarm. We need to know when we hear that one, that means that's an alarm. That means we have carbon monoxide in our house. If we hear chirps, then that means we have low battery or the sensor's bad. So we should understand how our carbon monoxide alarms work. We need to know their limitations, but we certainly need to know the sound of the alarm. A lot of stories about fires, and you can find hundreds of fire articles on an internet search every day. In this particular one from the Trib Live, 3 dwellings are damaged in an early morning fire. They're only a few feet apart. Buildings are not social distance when it comes to fire. So when you live in one building, you kind of have responsibility for the buildings next to you when they're in close proximity. So let's get those early warning devices and let's practice fire safety. From fireengineering.com, the Colorado fire chief wants 6-month ban on open fires. We think about the open fires and they get out of control. The fire departments now are under a lot of stress, more stress than ever before. So let's keep the fires down. Yes, is this an infringement on our rights, on our liberties, on our democracy? It's personal, and when you start a fire, the smoke that you put in the air affects more than yourself. And people can't get over it because they're suffering from respiratory problems, and most likely they'll be impacted now by the COVID-19 virus. So let's take some consideration. So our consideration, our respect for fire safety will help aid and support those who have been and are there for us. They've been ready, and we have to up our game, our participation, because we all have to learn to make adjustments to our lifestyles. The news stories around the globe are reporting this message. From KHQA.com, first responders adjust, so must we. The COVID-19 concerns lead to new methods, safety precautions for some local first responders. They have to. We have to keep them safe as they keep us safe during this event and all the events that come up that are hazardous. From KAAL, personal protective equipment scarcity. The Stewartville temporarily suspend service due to personal protective equipment scarcities. We want all of our area citizens not to panic We're still here for a wide variety of services that can help, but we don't have the protective equipment, so we're asking you to be safer. That's a message from this department and all the departments around the world. You know, and there's some good news out there every once in a while, but it's good news because it's someone providing protective equipment. Firehouse Subs around the country and the United States has put together fundraisers for fire departments to get extra equipment that isn't readily available in their capital expense account. So thermal imaging cameras, carbon monoxide meters, other accessories, these are essential firefighters and emergency responding tools. Thank you, Firehouse Subs. From the Lake Minnetonka Conservation District, carbon monoxide. Well, this is about Sophia's Law, and it took a death to mold a law to prevent more deaths. As of May 1st, 2017, all motorboats operating in Minnesota with an enclosed accommodation compartment must be equipped with a marine carbon monoxide detection system. Gasoline-powered motorboats with an closed occupancy compartment must also display 3 carbon monoxide warning stickers at the helm, at the stern, and in the entrance to any enclosed occupancy space. Those of you that have boats, I know you might think this is a little bit silly because you're out having fun, but there are deaths associated to motorboats and carbon monoxide gas. I personally have been on many boats, and I always have my personal carbon monoxide monitor with me. And believe it or not, because you can find this out for yourself, all it takes is measurement. We are slowly being poisoned in those boats if we're not paying attention to prevailing winds, the idling motors, and where those combustion gases go. So Sophia, I'm so sorry, but we're listening. And from Science Daily, back to COVID-19, link between air pollution and coronavirus mortality in Italy could be possible. Well, they've known pollution has weakened the respiratory systems, and worldwide millions of people die because of pollution-caused respiratory problems every year. A group of scientists has found another small piece in this puzzle and looking for reasons why the mortality rate is up 12% in northern part of Italy and lesser 4.5% in the rest of the country. They started tracking pollution. It's really no secret. We've known about it. Now we have to act. Many publications around the world revealed pretty much the same stories here. Nature in a healing mode. There's clear blue skies, clean air, cleaner rivers, wild animals taking a stroll on the roads. The title pretty much says it all, that nature's in a healing mode. Some of us aren't liking it. However, if we really take the time to reflect and look around, take a good look around. The reports are coming in from all over. KTLA, people in India can see the Himalaya mountains for the first time in decades as the lockdown reduces air pollution. For the first time in 30 years, I could clearly see the Himalayas due to India's lockdown, clearing air pollution. It's just amazing. And the reports keep coming in. WTVD TV, fewer cars, cleaner air, ? Scientists study this byproduct of COVID-19. These stories are worth reading, worth educating ourselves on, and then take a look at what role we are playing in dirtying the air. And from the UCSF News Services, air pollution and smoking may increase coronavirus risks. It worsens the outcomes. And lung damage is the cause of most COVID-19 deaths, and lung damage is also a public health concern for smokers and anybody living under polluted skies. They keep rolling in. This one's from NASA. The NASA satellite data shows a 30% drop in air pollution over the northeast U.S. This is a real reality show. Natural Resource Defense Council, pollution is not an equal opportunity killer, nor is COVID-19. Pretty much says it all. We are all in this together. Well, this one out of livescience.com ought to make us take another look at who we are and what's going on. The Chernobyl exclusion zone's on fire, and now they're measuring some radiation in the air around the area in the higher levels. Well, in this link, we have it up on the site quite often. We keep it there. This is an instructional video about propane, LPG, storing your propane tanks. BLEVE is a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. And this is a video I found on YouTube. I highly recommend that you show this to yourselves, your family. Show it to your technicians that are working for you. Think of the firefighters that are going into a fire and there's a propane tank that has a fire on it and it's getting that tank hotter and hotter. Think about your own buildings. Think about where you are. Think about where you store your propane tanks and your gasoline cans. Let's pay attention and let's watch this video. And finally, from the Sonoma Valley Sun, the benefits of using renewable energy. Well, after reading all these stories and going through them for this last week, these are non-polluting renewable energy sources, and pollution seems to be causing quite a few problems with us health-wise. So, different types of renewable energy been providing people with jobs. It's got a lot of pluses. So this is a good story. Well, those were the news stories from the carbon monoxide news, April 7th through 12th. That was just last week. We were reminded of confined space deaths, some cooking accidents and death from pollution and grilling fires, barbecuing fires. Our work here is to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning in a community, but obviously you can't do it from one location or two locations. It's something everybody has to do. Now there's training opportunities that we spoke of online tomorrow. The Energy Conservatory with their blower door technology, something you could look at to do if for service or if you're a homeowner, something you should consider for your own building. And then also the numerous offerings by the ESCO group on HVACR educational opportunities. I'm Bob Dwyer with the Carbon Monoxide Safety Association. Have a good, safe week.